Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. A game you could say of strategy versus structure. And Chelsea had a very interesting structure in this game, and I want to break down why Enzo Maresca set up in the way that he did, and some of the changes that he made throughout the game, which could have played a big part in the springboard for Chelsea's comeback. So you'll see here I've got my lovely tactics board, and I'm just going to place the Chelsea players in the positions where they were on the ball. Okay, so this was Chelsea on the ball, and here is the ball. And this was in the first half. They had their three centre-backs, Caicedo as that lone number 6, and then ahead of them they almost had a line of 5 players, with João Pedro being the person leading the line. Now of course you had Buonanotte in the 10, and you had Enzo playing in this role here, which is his typical role and is a role which really suits him very well. But you also had Jorel Hato coming into this game, almost inverting, kind of like Cucurella would do in that situation. Now, if we look at Brentford's off-the-ball structure, they were set up in a 5-3-2 structure off the ball, soaking up a lot of pressure, staying in a nice compact mid-block, trying to stop any balls going through the centre. And you can see in the central zones here, they are matched up. It is 3 versus 3. But Chelsea have done that purposely, because, and there's two options here, either João Pedro drops in deep to receive, which we have seen a lot, and he drags a centre-back out of position, leaving that space in behind for the runs of Buonanotte and possibly Enzo Fernandez, but we didn't see that enough. Or, and this was the more regular occurrence, you had Caicedo here, who was key, because it kind of caused Brentford a little bit of a problem in how they would press the ball. What often happened was one of the strikers would split, one would cover Caicedo to stop him from getting on the ball, and they would have this one striker almost doing that singular role of pressing. But what Chelsea wanted to happen was for one of these Brentford players to step out of their block of 3 to apply pressure to Caicedo upon receiving the ball, so that he leaves one man spare in that middle 3. So now you've got that overload in the middle. But also, because the middle was so congested, it meant that Brentford were having to put a lot of bodies in there to deal with what Chelsea were throwing at them, which led to the wide positions always being in a 1v1 situation. But in the second half, Chelsea made a little bit of a change.